Marvel Anderson was just 16 years old when she was last seen in St. Ignace late in the afternoon on May 2nd, 1994. Her body would not be found until September of the following year in a remote part of Mackinac County, and her death was ruled a homicide. 9 and 10's David Lyden and videographer Josh Monroe spoke with detectives and those who knew Marvel about the long search for answers.
She was always just super nice every time I had, talked with her.
Marvel Anderson was everything you'd expect a 16-year-old high school student to be. Dave Massey was one of Marvel's classmates at LaSalle High School in St. Ignace.
Smile, huge smile. I know, they say she had a smile that lit up her room, but she really did. And if you ever see any pictures of her, you see that.
The afternoon of May 2nd, 1994 ended like so many others had for Anderson. Last seen leaving LaSalle High School and heading to her home on Glashaw Street. She was later reported missing by her mother.
What do you remember about the day after she went missing?
Yeah, it's a tough one, just because it was so long ago. I remember everybody just being, initially we just thought she maybe ran away.
Police thought the same thing, believing Anderson, who was 5 months pregnant at the time, had willingly run away from home. Detective Sergeant Gary Demers now heads up the investigation into what happened to Marvel.
There were some messages, some notes that were left at her home for her mother, and information from different friends in the area that led investigators originally to believe that she was a runaway.
Then, in September of 1995, this case took a drastic turn.
The following year, bear hunters in a portion of Mackinac County discovered human remains in the woods that ended up being identified as those of Marvel Anderson. There was evidence at the scene that led investigators immediately to believe that this was a homicide.
Almost a year and a half had passed between Marvel being reported missing and the discovery of her body.
It really allowed whoever may be responsible for her homicide to get a good jump start on law enforcement, and it caused law enforcement to be delayed for a fairly significant amount of time to make that transition between a runaway and a homicide investigation.
So what happened to the vivacious teenager with that unforgettable smile?
Investigators chased down every lead that they had. They interviewed tons of people. They interviewed dozens and dozens of people. There were potential suspects that were named and eliminated, others that were named and have not yet been eliminated. So they did extensive interviews. They conducted searches of property, of evidence. Evidence that was seized at the scene was forwarded to crime labs for analysis.
Then, in 2008, that evidence got a second look.
The detectives are going out, doing fresh rounds of interviews, interviewing people a second time.
There was also optimism new technology could generate new leads.
With some of the advances in DNA technology, with some of the advances in police methods, and the ability to pull together veteran detectives, hopefully now is the time we can move this into the solved column.
And that hope remains today.
We'd also love for people that may have knowledge of what happened to Marvel to come forward and be willing to talk to us. We're very confident that there are members of this community that have information that might help further the investigation, and we'd love to talk to them.
It'd be a little bit of closure for the town, and I just think it would be a great thing, healing, a lot of healing.
That was 9 and 10's David Lyden with our Unsolved series. Now you can listen to David's full interviews in our Unsolved podcast. It's available right now wherever you get your podcasts.